Pando.
How are you, mate?
Oh, there you are.
I'm a little bit potato-like this evening.
What does that mean?
Well, you look at for those watching on YouTube, you see how I'm all grainy and potato-like?
Yeah.
That's because I'm on my laptop in my new place, and I haven't actually moved in officially, but I have nowhere else to sleep.
Very nice. Here I am. All right. Well, that works. I'll let Leon's ready to go. He's the only guest we've ever had that's ready when we're ready. So I'm going to fucking send him right now.
Fucking send it.
Right.
All right.
We'll see if this works. This could be the first time we've done a podcast when we didn't talk for 20 minutes before
there he
the
is.
fucking podcast. There he is. Hey.
And everything.
Oh, I love that hat.
Pretty cold hat. How good.
I actually think, Leon, you've got the only Brew Cult trucker cap.
That's right.
Really?
I have the only Brew Cult bucket hat, and it's my favorite hat right now.
Yeah. Really? Like the bucket hat?
Yes.
Oh, gee, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it's just the one-offs you get made for certain events. And I remember it when I was helping you guys out at GABS Festival. I think at some stage, amidst the havoc of it all, you just handed me the hat and said, "Here you go, take it." Because
they were that was actually they were trade samples.
Okay.
They were trade samples. I never actually had a print run done of either the trucker caps or the bucket hats because it all went fucking pear-shaped before I got to do a run. And so that's it. That's it. It's what you've got is fucking rare as fuck.
Yeah.
I'll worth a bit of coin, maybe, especially as an NFT.
Or what?
Trust your brain to go to NFTs already.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do a thing on this podcast, Leon, where it's sort of one sip review of the beer. I don't know if you've been warned about this, but do you have a beer there to drink? Or
yep, I am drinking Hawker's Lucky 13.
Oh, I know
that's so good.
I saw your post.
So good.
It's excellent.
It was so good when Maz sent up a 4-pack of that. It was a really good beer.
They posted a 30% off sale, so I jumped at a case. It's just the sort of beer that I want to stack my fridge with and just grab after work or on a hot day or whatever. So
it's a bloody good beer.
Nice.
It's good beer. So did you say a one-word review?
Yeah, one sip. Everyone knows the rules. So you do the one sip.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it, but you're going to do it right now. You have a sip and then give us a review of the beer. You already gave us a review though, so I feel like you did.
Okay.
Andrew, you got something?
Yes. It's not a beer. I have no refrigeration here. So.
Okay. Red wine. It's red wine. I've done this before though.
No, it's not red wine.
It's not. Okay. It's not a beer. No refrigeration. The fuck is it?
Double Jack Daniels and Coke.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh, number 7.
And no, that's okay. I'm just going to pour it into my glass here. Now, Dan, I want you to check to make sure that my glass is
I'm going to
clean.
Get a good photo of
now,
this.
Now, I just want you to know that in this new place, I dropped some serious big bucks on a really fancy European fucking dishwasher, and I want this motherfucker to be worth the money.
Let's see what happens.
Right? Okay, let's see. I've just poured it in. There we go. What do you reckon?
What the fuck is that, Hendo?
That's a fucking paper cup.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm drinking double Jack Daniels from a paper cup.
Jesus Christ.
It's the only way to do it.
Where I grew up, Jack Daniels was like the fanciest drink you could get. Like that was the shit.
I'm not joking. In the last week, so I recently have rediscovered, actually I wouldn't say rediscovered, Jack Daniels, right? So I bought a bottle of Jack Daniels for my nephew for Christmas. There you go, nephew. Drunkle Steve's got you a fucking bottle of Jack Daniels for Christmas because I drew him in the Secret Santa. We do a Secret Santa in the Henderson family. And then I got all the way to Stanthorpe and was going to wrap this present, that sort of thing. And my sister-in-law said, my nephew's mother said, "Oh, Liam doesn't drink." And I went, "I just got him a bottle of fucking Jack Daniels. What am I supposed to do with this?" So I had to start drinking. Well, no, he did start drinking. Like good. Literally, he's and so basically he did start. He's 22, I think, and but he stopped drinking. And fair enough, you're not going to
That's-
force it. Guy to fucking drink if he doesn't want to drink and that sort of thing. And so I'm stuck with this bottle of Jack Daniels. So I had it sitting there and I went, oh, well, I'm going to Jack Daniels and Coke, and fuck, it's delicious.
It is delicious. All right. Well,
yeah.
My beer is
So there you go. I've got, what do you
my
got
beer
there?
is the Black Ops East Coast Haze.
Wow.
That's that number 18,
number 19 in the hottest 100.
19.
I noticed that. Congrats. And that was a debut, wasn't it?
It was a debut, but it was we didn't push it this year. We knew it would do pretty well, but the goat was sort of ahead. So we're like, let's push the goat. So it was a good performance from the little East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beer that 9 times out of 10 when I visit a Black Hops tapper and I'm ordering first, just because it's just the perfect kind of, crushable beer one.
Yeah. I just took a sip and it went all over my computer, just so you guys know.
Now I
Wow.
can see your crutch. We actually can
Oh,
see
can
your
you?
crutch right
Is
there.
it looking good?
Yeah.
Oh, you can too. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
This is
whoops. Whoops.
An NFT opportunity.
It is. Get in early.
Dan Norris's crutch NFT.
Yep. Who doesn't want that? All right.
At least your
Um,
undies are clean.
I don't have undies on, mate.
Well, there you go. Thanks.
You brought it up.
Yeah, well,
All right. So, well, we were talking about getting you on, Leon, and doing a bit of a discussion of Facebook groups, but the hottest 100 was last week, and actually I haven't seen a lot of discussion about it on
Yeah,
Facebook, but I feel like that's probably the conversation topic of choice.
definitely.
Why
What's,
don't I start with reading out Hendo's predictions for the hottest 100, because they were kind of dog shit, if I'm honest. And we did a little thing in the group where
I saw that.
you had your prediction. So Hendo, actually, the funny thing is, we had,
I got the top three.
well, you didn't, but we had
I did.
first three. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But you were
Yes.
basically last in the overall tally of the whole
Yeah.
competition.
That's okay, but at least I picked the top three.
Yeah, but don't say top three. You got the
Sorry.
first three correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
You weren't the top
right.
three. Out of
No, I got the top. I picked the top three beers.
I said the first three. It's fine. It's technicality. Anyway, so about 15 people voted in our little online thing here. Every single person except for 2 picked Crankshaft to win. Because I went through these.
What were the
today.
people who didn't pick Crankshaft?
Larry. Everyone was Crankshaft or Larry.
I think next year.
Yeah. But anyway, Hendo was Crankshaft, bang on, 5 points.
Mhm.
And his list was Crankshaft number 1, Bolter XP8. That was a good one. Larry, that was a good one. Goat,
Nailed
whoops,
that.
let you down on that one because that was
Yeah.
4.
Well,
end
next
up
year,
fifth.
got to make it up.
Newtowner,
They got 10.
yeah.
10.
But the biggest fail there was your adamant
Stonewood.
that Stonewood wouldn't make the top 10, and they came in at 4th.
Agreed.
Ben spoke most amount of beers in the list, incorrect. Bolter most amount in the top 50, incorrect. Number of barrel aged beers, 0, incorrect. Highest debut entry, better beer, top 10, correct and correct.
Mhm.
And number of 0 alc 0 beers, incorrect. So you got 12
I
out of
fucked that
28.
one up bad. Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. How do you
What did
feel
you
about
do?
your performance? I didn't mind.
Oh, you got to call it like it is, Dan. And at the end of the day, I as I said last week, it's a fucking popularity contest, and I made my call. Especially with Stone and Wood, I think it was a really interesting one because I really thought that Stone and Wood would get pummeled. It didn't. I found that very interesting.
Agreed. Leon, you weren't involved in the predictions, but let's just give you the benefit of the doubt and pretend that you were.
Right.
And let's just say, if I asked you before the hottest 100,
Yeah.
You'll get
I'll ask you
27.
the questions now, and you can pretend like you can answer them. As
I
if,
still don't look. I've been a little bit out of the loop of the whole thing anyway. And aside from having the list in front of me, I still am very unaware of some of these results.
Okay.
So it could
Right.
be a guess. So
let's go. Who's going to win the hottest 100?
well, I think it was a no-brainer with Crankshaft winning. I mean, it was just, even like from a betting odds point of view, it was just, there was too much stacked on them. But to be honest, if I had to go 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, I probably wouldn't have put Bolter. I might have dropped them back a couple of spots. I probably would have agreed with Hendo that Stone would have got pushed back to about number 8, 9.
Yeah.
I really was out of the loop with this better beer. I had no idea that they had caused such a stir. So I was very oblivious that would make top 10. And the other one that is a little bit of a surprise for me is the 2 Capital beers in the top 10. I wouldn't have known. I might have put, there was something I was thinking of, I would have thought would have been higher.
Have you drunk either of the Capital beers in the top 10?
Let me just check what they were.
I think it was Pale and XPA. I think it was.
It's their Coast Ale and their XPA. I think I've had both of them, just because I get sent the boxes from Hops to Home, and quite often they do have Capital beers in them. And I recall them both being very pleasant, but I never really thought about them and judging them on a, as a benchmark against your front runners of the hottest 100. So
do you see any of the Capital beers in your local Dan's or BWS?
No. I don't really shop at Dan's. And I'm not sure, are they there? I don't know. Do you guys see them?
I just go straight to the Hollandia, mate.
Yeah, Dando doesn't fuck with craft beer, but I'm actually, I was surprised too, because I listened to the Brews News thing, and the guy from Capital was on there, and he was saying they do 3 million litres of beer a year, which I know that literage number people fuck with quite a lot because it's a bit of a vague thing, but that seems like a lot. Like that's a fair bit more than we do. And I'd assume that's every bit as much as Benspoke does. Like Benspoke's not a massive brewery.
Yeah. It kind of got me thinking though that the support out in Canberra is pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like they're obviously really, really, really getting behind their local breweries, more so than some of the other states. Like, you've sort of got your Gage Rose, which is a massive operation, but they're down at sort of number 17, and and so it's interesting to sort of look at that. And I think the Melbourne breweries are spread out a lot too. You know what I mean? Like, like even drinking a Hawkers now, you kind of think, a brewery like Hawkers, could their IPA could sort of spring in one of the sort of in the top 20. I don't know if it's even in there, but it's surprising how it's like it's the cities that really have like that following, and similar with Black Hawks, you've got the real local community pride about that particular brewery, and same with your Larry. And it's just an interesting one, the way it goes.
Were Hawkers in the list? I actually don't really recall.
I actually don't.
Hawkers, the West Coast IPA got in there at a reasonable. It's like in the 60s and 70s.
Are you sure? I'm searching. I'm
searching.
searching.
West Coast IPA is number 87.
Okay.
Down one spot. From last year. Yeah.
Was that the only Hawkers beer though?
Yes. Yes. Because I'm just looking through the list now. Yep. So it's quite amazing. And actually, one thing I just wanted to bring up, which I thought was interesting, just having just scanned through some of the results, is how Cooper's got number 11.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And they got number 11, and they also got something like number 17 or 18, or in the, no, sorry. They 40 for their sparkling ale. But the staggering thing is the sparkling ale is up 143 spots.
Yeah.
And the pale ale's up 64. And I can only put that down to the fact that they've gone canning.
100%.
Yeah. People are drinking it more. They're going, oh, love it in a can. It's kind of reignited people's fascination with Coopers again. So,
but I think they've made an
back
effort.
to 2008.
I think they've made an effort.
It's definitely throwback to 2008, because like Coopers used to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Well, Coopers have been the best craft brewery in the country for 150 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I feel like they've realized that they should participate in the whole craft beer thing. And like with the canning thing, like when they went into cans, they really made a big deal of it. And like brands, like, because when we came into it, we were only really into cans, and it seemed weird that other people weren't. And Bolter as well, they were only ever cans.
Yeah.
But Stone and Wood, Burley Brewing, all those established brews, Four Pines, Mountain Goat, those kind of brews, like it was, canning was sort of like, okay, this particular beer is in cans, we won't make a big deal of it, but mainly we're into bottles. And for years, Stone and Wood and Burley was saying that, like, our customers want bottles, we'll do a little bit of canning. But when Coopers finally came around to the idea of cans, they fucking sent it. That billboards, I drive around, I see billboards with buzzwords, yes, we can, massive flagship cans, and it paid off.
Here's a theory for you then, Dan, is that Stonewood's potential decrease due to selling out was made up for the fact that Stonewood Pacifico went into cans.
I think the opposite is. I think the opposite is true. Actually, I think if Stonewood were faster to embrace cans, they would be more relevant, and it has more to do with that and less to do with selling out.
Even when I was working there in 2017, they just disliked cans.
Yeah.
They didn't like them. I think the big thing for them at the time was that they were like, we can't find a canning machine fast enough to do what we do.
Yeah, but if you look at this
retooling
list,
issue.
Have you got the list up in front of you? You scroll that list. There is very few bottles on that list. Like there's 3 or 4 bottles. There's fuck all
Little Creatures. You've got
Four
Heads of
Pines,
Jack Lager, and actually Heads of Noosa are another one that I've brought up with a guy I know who works down there. And I said, you got to get a canning machine, because the whole lager hype with them is sort of starting to happen, because everyone's really getting behind how well made and meticulously perfect their lagers are.
They're on tap everywhere too. Fine. On the Sunny Coast, they're on tap everywhere.
Yeah, and and I couldn't believe they're pretty easy to find on tap around Brisbane too. Yeah. I found them on tap down at Brewtide. I found them on tap at a little bar just down in East Brisbane near the German Club, and actually they were on tap at the German Club at some stage too, I believe. But it's surprising they're really like pushing through and just doing that one thing and doing that one thing well. So, but if they get onto canning, that'll be interesting.
I hope they do.
Yeah,
I hope they do. I'd if it went into can, I'd buy it. It's just and I reckon if the price point was around Hollandia, definitely.
Dude, the thing I found hard, particularly over the holiday break and having people stay with me, was just the bottle wastage and just trying to fit that into the recycle bin. So so cans are just far more efficient to really crush up and just dispose of. So
Jesus, how many fucking cans are you smashing between bin day, mate?
Well, it was just over Christmas. Over Christmas. I'm all right when I'm just here. It's just me sort of here with Carla sort of thing. But when it's when I've got guests staying here and people are here every day, drinking from like lunchtime onwards, which was kind of what was happening over the Christmas period, it was ridiculous how much of a build-up of wastage there was on cans. So yeah. Anyway,
you should install a tap at your house.
A beer tap.
For Christmas. Well, that's what I did. I took a 30-litre keg of beer out to family Christmas out at Stanthorpe, and it was just a mid-strength. It was just a mid-strength lager, and set up a temperite. Set up a temperite literally next to the spa bar.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have to get out of the spa bar to pour myself a beer. It was fucking great.
That's a really sensible idea for the future. I think I should consider
smart.
It is a sensible idea, and we knew this was happening, and we asked for a photo, and we didn't get it, did we?
Well, that's because I had no clothes on. You said no photos.
That was the whole reason we wanted the photo.
Well, because I had no clothes on?
Yes.
That's dirty.
Well, that's the kind of operation we run here. And this is the reason we have 12 fans. Okay. All right. So, Leon, any other surprises out of the hottest 100, you reckon, or looks pretty that right?
To be honest, I'm still digesting the list.
What do you think about better beer?
Yes,
number 6. I want to talk about that.
Better beer. actually, it was good to see that Rattenhood get up on the number 76. Better beer, I don't know because I haven't had it. I've read some reviews on it. I think it's a no carb. Is it a no carb lager? Something like that?
Or low carb midstream.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably in the same vicinity of like your Burley Big Head or something like that. I don't know. It looks like it looks obviously colourful and interesting, but I don't know. I mean,
have you had it? Have you
no,
tried it?
No, I haven't had it. I haven't even seen it for sale yet. Perhaps I'm not shopping the right stores to find it, but I'm happy to grab one if I see it for science. What about you? Have you tried it?
No, I have looked for it, actually. I've been to both Liquorland and to BWS and Dan's and haven't seen it yet.
So what's your theory on how it has the capacity to launch into number 6 spot, despite us sitting here not having had it, having almost not heard of it or heard very little of it up until the Hottest 100? Like, what's the theory there behind how it's become?
It's one of the things that I say that a beer needs to get into the Hottest 100 is great marketing, great brand, and great distribution.
But people,
so maybe you haven't seen it.
Yeah, so the people.
Well, it's a new audience. It's a new audience, isn't it? I was listening to the Brews News thing, and they were sort of looking at their Facebook saying, they haven't shared it, but the Inspired Unemployed shared it on their story, and they've got 1.2 million followers, and not just the followers, like they've got like people fucking love them. They've like got a proper engaged following.
That's one thing, but then if you engage that group of 1 million plus followers, those people still have to go through the ordeal of voting for that beer.
Right, but there's still even if you look, even at the following of the actual beer itself, like this beer only came out 3 months ago. Their beer account alone has 50,000 followers on Instagram, which is more than any other brewery other than sort of Bolter and Stone and Wood. Like, it's way more than us, and we've had Instagram account for 7 years.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a natural following.
Nothing's natural though. It's just that
people
are fucking following it. They care about it.
What were they called?
The Better Beer account. Inspired Unemployed.
Inspired Unemployed.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they've done it. They've done an influencer market.
Yeah, good on them.
Yeah, love it or hate it.
Probably paid top dollar for that too. The interesting is last week we were talking about like paid ads and paid Google ads and all that sort of stuff. Like, it better be as smart as.
Endo, it's got nothing to do ads. It's got nothing to do with paid ads. Like Mighty Craft did a deal with Torquay Beverage Co. or whatever for 60-40 for the entire business. So Inspired Unemployed own 40% of this entire business without doing anything except for bringing their audience along with them, and they own 60%. And then whatever, and they contract brew the beer. They don't even have to have a brewery.
Still sounds like influencer marketing to me.
It is, but it's kind of pretty fucking smart, isn't it?
Fucking oath it is. That's my point. It's like last week we were talking about how when you search for Hottest 100 craft beers, you get a bent spoke Google ad in Google search.
Oh, that's different. I think that's different.
No, it's the fucking same thing. Same thing.
No, I think that they've organically built their brand and they're entertaining people. People love them, and they're putting a product out there. It's fucking smart. Paying for Google ads is not the same thing. Anyone can pay for Google ads.
Influencer advertising, paid social ads.
It's not advertising though. It's their own company. Like they own 40% of that entire business, which is almost as much as any other founders of any brewery own of their brewery.
Oh.
It's not paying for ads in Google.
No, I know, but it's still paying a way to get in front of people to garnish.
Who's paying? Who's paying though?
Well, bloody Mighty Craft have gotten a bed with these guys.
Yeah.
To build a brand as an influencer campaign to get them to vote for this beer.
It's not a campaign though. It's a business.
Sounds pretty organic to me then.
And they're like, if their volumes are what they say they are, they're doing more beer than almost anyone any independent breweries in the top 10.
Let's say they're doing let's say they're doing the volume. Let's say they're not, right? Their influence, their 1 million followers garnish the votes. Job done.
Oh, true. True.
There's a financial arrangement. Got a lot of votes. Good on them.
Yeah.
There's a different way of doing it. You should do a private equity race with some big influencer.
No, I think this thing that with Mighty Craft is the smartest thing they've ever done. I think it's amazing. Like they've been doing this whole time, buying small stakes of little brands. In this situation, they're like, fuck it. Why don't we just make a brand from scratch, do it with guys who already have a gigantic following and take a small stake of that and don't even pay for it. And all of a sudden they're in the top 6. It's fucking amazing.
So with Mighty Craft, I mean, like, I assume that do they own or part own Ballistic?
I think they own about 20% of Ballistic, unless that's changed recently.
And I only bring this up. I mean, apart from other reasons, I live around the corner from Ballistic now, and I actually dropped in with some mates who were up from Melbourne during the Hottest 100 countdown, and they would, when I got there, they're like, you know, Hawaiian haze is free. Go and, drink a Hawaiian haze sort of thing. So,
really?
Yeah. And so naturally, like, I mean, it wasn't
controversial.
It wasn't like you can drink Hawaiian haze all day for free, but it was like everyone who comes in today can go and get like a schooner, like a decent sized pour.
And were they encouraging you to wait on the Hottest 100 day? Do you mean
the day?
The day
they had already got.
They were celebrating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was celebrating. Cool. No. But interestingly, so when we were sitting around chatting about their kind of marketing campaign, the people I was with were like, "Wow, Ballistic really went to town on their marketing." People were getting text messages.
Yeah.
Vote Ballistic. Vote Hawaiian haze. Like, I mean, that they really went to that nth degree to make sure that their beer was getting like in people's faces. My point being that I assume that could be Mighty Craft in general with all their brands having the same marketing approach, which is why if you look at all of their brands, they're all kind of, well, a lot of them are quite successful in like, whether it be Hottest 100 or whether it just be like being overtly well marketed and loud.
I don't think that's true, is it? Like, what ones are you thinking of when you think of those brands?
Well, I guess I'm just thinking like, I know with all of these sorts of brands, I, for example, have been contacted quite commonly. Oh, would you like a sample of this beer? Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I think they're very.
But when you say well marketed, do you think that's good marketing, or you think it's aggressive?
No, I just think that they've got a very like strong marketing campaign that they're on a mission to make sure their products pop up in the right places so that they are successful. I think they're strategic and clever, and it's not always a like you see a Jetty Road beer, held by someone famous or something. It's like, I'm sure that wasn't an accident, I think that's my point. And and I just tied that to the Ballistic, like sort of their push for Hawaiian haze, and how.
Well, yeah, that could be true, but that's the weird thing with Mighty Craft. They unless it's changed, they own a small chunk of Ballistic, and they own 100% of, or more than 20% of a lot of other brands. So, I don't know. I would assume the Ballistic push is more about them doing it. Like last year, they had a big push. They were sort of one of the first to do the mid-strength new world.
Oh, the low calorie one.
No, just Hawaiian haze. Like last year with Hawaiian haze.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Because they came number 6, and they put up billboards, and they went after it. And I think that worked really well for them. And this year there's just a way more competition. So I don't know if I feel like they probably did the same amount of marketing, but there's just so much more competition.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's Mighty Craft.
Yeah. Well, I've got a question, right? Let's say the Hottest 100 beers weren't restricted to what you can vote for, but anything. Do you guys have any thoughts about how the results may change, or what may or may not get included based on if it was open to everything?
It is open to everything.
Well, from what
Do you mean
I
beer
understood,
or?
like people were complaining you couldn't vote for mountain culture, you couldn't vote for. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that if you go and vote for a beer, it has to be in the list.
It is a bit weird. Like when you submit the list, and then if someone else votes for a beer that's not in your list that you submitted, they contact you and say, "Oh, you should log in there and add this beer to the list."
Right.
So yeah, I suppose you're right. But to be honest with you, like none of those beers are ever going to go well. Like I think like if there's 50,000 people voting, like you're talking about tens of thousands of people potentially voting for one beer. So it's a beer that
always
only
going to
makes a
come
list
down
because
to
a few people,
like the success drive and the exposure. Yeah. No, I just did notice some complaining in some groups about, oh, you know, if I could have voted for this, I would have voted for this. And look, I'm not super privy to what you can and can't do or what is.
Did you vote on it?
I didn't even vote.
Wow.
I thought about it, but I kind of felt like, I don't know, if I had voted, I was torn because what kind of happens in my position is I'm mates with a lot of brewers and a lot of beer industry people. And as soon as you mention what you voted for, why didn't you vote for us? It sort of becomes, you know what I mean? It's like, why'd you vote then? Is it because they sent you a free beer or like?
Why are you wearing a Blaster shirt and not a Black Ops one though? Just unrelated to conversations.
What happened? Get this. When I visited Black Hops 1 about like 4 or 5 years ago, I was there and I was chatting to GABS and I was like, oh, you know, can I grab a t-shirt? I'm size medium. He's like, yeah, no problem. I think I paid for it and all that, but he gave me the shirt and I went home and like I kind of went to put it on and realized it was a size large, but it was quite a large. So it's never, the Black Hops shirt I have has never fit. So I ended up giving it to a mate who's a bigger guy. Yeah. So I actually don't own a Black Hops shirt.
That's fair.
But I've every time
I think he's trying to tell you he wants another Black Ops shirt, Dan.
No, I don't think he does. I think he's sick of getting sent free shit.
Oh,
we don't send a lot of free shit, which is
what's your point, Leon? What are you trying to say?
I don't actually get sent much merch. What usually happens is sometimes I'll get sent a couple of beers and I actually do the thing where I buy the merch from the brewery as a way of kind of putting my money back in their pockets because it's, you know what I mean? If I like the beer. Yeah. So,
Now, since this is only a conversation between us three and we only have 12 listeners and there's already 3 on this call, why don't you let us know what potentially you would have voted for as your top 5 beers of 2021 if you had have voted and you didn't want to offend anyone?
What I wouldn't have voted for.
No, what you would have voted for. Like what
do you vote
hypothetically,
for?
like
what would be your votes?
What are your favorite beers of the year?
Oh, you know, no, like look, it's probably not so much the year, but like I think about what's really consistent. Like, you know, like I really do like, you know, your mountain culture status quo, but I'm really liking some of the clean lagers coming out this year. I definitely would have thrown in that Rattenhund vote from Hop Nation.
Well, that made the 100, didn't it?
Yeah, 78.
Which I'm actually quietly impressed about.
Yeah.
Considering they've only done 2 releases this year, that's really impressive.
Yeah, they don't try with this kind of stuff, though, do they? They don't give a shit about this kind of stuff.
I don't.
Look, I was having a chat with someone from Hop Nation this week, and I said, Rattenhund, you know, 77. That's a good effort. I thought I should have got higher because it's a cracking beer. And I think it highlights the difference between the GABS Hottest 100 and AIBAs, where it won a fucking trophy and that sort of thing, you know. So,
but they don't push it, do they? They kind of just do their thing.
They can't. They can't make it fast enough. It takes 12 weeks to make this beer, mate.
I think Deeds wants more into the fray. I think that's justified at number 94. But to be honest, when I voted last year, I think 3 of my top 5 were Wildflower bottles. And this is the thing, right? Like I don't really even remember if, obviously I didn't vote this year, so I didn't check if they were on the list. But you know, their beers are never going to get a result, but
No.
like it's the sort of thing I really do enjoy drinking. And I think I might have last year I voted for a La Serene Cuvée Blue, which was like their, you know, blueberry wild. And I'm at the moment, I'm probably more torn between a few interesting, the barrel-aged stouts, the wilds coming out. Like there's a new brewery called Laura, which is Chase from Wildflower, who's doing similar sort of stuff with native Blue Mountain ingredients.
Nice.
And then that sort of thing. And then some of the lagers and some of those sorts of things coming out at the moment are just top notch. And it's probably what I'm enjoying most as opposed to a lot of the hoppy beers. But the thing is, at the moment, I've kind of gone back to the simple times. I just like going to a brewery and just sitting and just drinking what's on tap. And I think it's what you told me one time, Hendo, like just go to a brewery, start with the light beer and then sort of work up the list and then you move on and you get that really rounded version of what they're doing and what their kind of core range is. And that's kind of where I'm at, to be honest.
I wonder why, if you look at the, like the beers you're describing, it seems like if you look at the New Zealand list, which I think comes out a week from now, or like they start doing it, every year they put that list out. It's all crazy fucking craft beers, but the Aussie list is not like that. Like the beers you're describing, I imagine would probably make the New Zealand list like that. It's a proper sort of real crafty community. Like,
although I imagine if the Aussie list is like Kiwi list, you'd have one of the breweries getting 20 beers.
That's true.
List, like Garage Project do. It's crazy.
But it's Garage Project, Behemoth, and Parrot Dog, and then there's like 3 others.
But do you guys reckon that we're going to see more novelty beers coming? I'll give you an example. This year's interesting. At number 67, you've got One Drop and you've got their double vanilla custard pancake imperial nitro thick shake IPA. I mean, that was up 34 spots, right? Yeah. So just looking at that, hit 67, you kind of think, well, a year from now, I won't be surprised if number 22 is like a One Drop, you know, triple kiwi, banana, such and such, bloody fruit, thick milkshake sour or something.
Was that the GABS beer? Do you know?
I actually have no idea, and I've had that beer, and it's something like 10%. Like it's a big beer. It's not the sort of beer that you just go and buy. It's the sort of beer that you like. You don't just find it everywhere. It's the sort of beer you have to seek out. I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. Leon, I can actually speak to that, having run a brewing company that used to do those sorts of beers, but the mid-teen sort of version of those and that sort of thing. And I'd say they'll get so far. And I was actually going through some of the old lists and some of the old brew cult beers today, sort of in preparation for this recording. And I actually had it on Facebook memory pop up, and I had 3 beers in the list for 2013, which was like Can't Fight the Funk. Hop Zone.
Game changer, that beer.
Yeah, it was a game changer. No one's done it since, and needs to be done more. And Hop Zone and Superfly, which got
Hop Zone was so good.
Hop Zone was good, and Superfly we actually scored the highest.
What was Superfly? That was
it was the rye IPA.
Right, that was so good though. There's not enough rye. Not enough really good rye IPAs.
Exactly. No rye IPAs anymore, and no farmhouse or saison type IPAs and that sort of thing.
Interestingly, I was on a podcast going back about 2 years, and I was asked the top 10 beers that changed things for me. And one of the first ones I mentioned was back when Scotty from Bolter, back when he was working at Sunshine Coast Brewery, they did a rye ESB. I think it was his recipe, and it was just so much rye and so full-bodied and just really beautiful caramel notes. And that was one of the beers that I chose. And I think it's just I've pinned it down to the fact that anything with rye really gets me going. Like it just, if you use it right in a beer, it is ridiculously delicious. Like it can really just make the difference between a beer being so and like stand out. So more farmhouse IPAs though, and no, there's not enough of them these days.
Well, that was on the topic of game-changing beers. Like I remember when I think it was the very first trip me and Eddie did to Brizzy as like a craft beer trip. And I think it was the only places that were there were Scratch, Archive, and Tipplers, I think. And Tipplers had Can't Fight the Funk on tap. And like the whole point of the trip was to find that beer. And it was like Eddie was like, fuck, mate. Try this beer, like it's an IPA, it's got all this, and it's got the funk of the saison. I'm like, I mean, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Like, I drink Han Premium. I'm not sure what any of this means. But we got there in the end, and this is the original Tipplers that end up getting shut down. Walked into that back room, Can't Find the Funk was on tap, and Eddie got it to me and is like, this is the best fucking thing you'll ever drink. And I'm like, yeah, this is fucking amazing. So yeah, that beer would be in my list.
Dude, you can make that so easy. Just get Toshi to make it. Next time you're making pink mist or something, make an IPA and ferment it with that. It's the same.
Oh, we've done farmhouse IPAs in tribute to it, but the memory will remain.
Thank you.
Hendo,
that was a good beer. I loved it.
Can I just bring something up since we're on this topic? Because there was a little bit of a cheeky post in a group the other day where someone posted 2 of your brew cult beers.
I saw this.
Yes.
Mentioned that they had bought them locally, which we know is a fib, and then you came and clarified that in fact you gave it to this person for their 40th.
Yeah, that's correct.
Everything about that's fine, but I have a question. How many more do you have, and where are they hiding? Because I would like one of those coffee beers again, please.
It's an excellent question. Excellent question. So how that shit post, and it was a shit post.
It was a shit post, because that was going to be my question.
It definitely was a shit post. Okay. That was the fucking point. So Duncan is a very good mate of mine. I pretty much drink beers in every weekend, that sort of thing. And it was his 40th birthday weekend. And because I'm packing up to move, I've got a shitload of beer in it's not a cellar, it's just basically cardboard boxes full of fucking beer. And
that's what they call a cellar these days, Hendo. That's most people's cellars. Yeah. It's that or the wardrobe. So
I haven't added to my cellar since maybe 2016. So I've got some really good early teens classics, lots of them. I have the original Nonya O Bridge Road, Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis collab. I've got the original OG bottles.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And I also have some of my last of my brew cult beers that I have. So I've got some Milk and 2 Sugars. I've got some.
How many of those do you have, though? How many Milk and 2 Sugars?
Oh, that's the one he's interested in. You can tell.
It's the one I'd like to get a bottle again at some stage. Only if you've got like enough of them that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have many guests of this podcast. Leon's a guest. Is this the sort of thing where you give the guest a bottle? Or
no. If you've only got 4, I thought if you had a box of 16.
4 seems like a lot to me.
No,
not really, because I'm sure that if you just
but you're missing the point though. I've also got some 2016 Acid Freaks as well. I don't have any of the original Acid
Freaks. Now
that
would be interesting to taste now, wouldn't it?
Oh my god! When we sat down and drank those beers, the Acid Freaks was tasting fucking amazing.
That's really interesting.
It was phenomenal. It had gone a little bit autolyzed, a little bit oxidized, nice alcohol warmth, nice fruit cake, stewed fruit kind of thing going on, a little bit of sherry. It was
always a polarizing beer, though, wasn't it? Like that was.
Was that was the balsamic porter? Was it
balsamic Baltic porter? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting.
And it was tasting absolutely fucking phenomenal.
I always loved that beer personally, but I did show a few people that beer and they really struggled. But I was someone that used to put vinegar on things. Like I grew up with some really strange habits that my parents used to do, like putting vinegar in a tomato sandwich and like having the vinegar cut through, those sorts of things. I mean, it's people like, what? It's making the bread wet. But the thing is, it's the flavour, the way that the
Yes, of
acid,
course.
the
Acidity
vinegar-
is a really interesting. Acidity is a really important part of flavour, and that
Yeah.
was the idea of Acid Freaks, was that like it was that beer was never meant to be a sour, never meant to be a sour, because when you go buy vinegar from the supermarket, if you think about acetic acid, like you think about alcohol as like ABV versus acetic acid by volume. When you buy a supermarket vinegar, it's 6% acetic acid, right? And it's sour as fuck, and you would never drink it, right? And so the acidity of Acid Freaks was only 0.2%. It was bugger all. It was only there just to add a little bit of flavour.
Yeah, I liked it.
And the milk and 2 sugars not tasting too good, or?
No, the milk and 2 sugars was tasting really nice. But I think when you think about like a bottle of red that you've had in the cellar and that sort of thing, it gets really good and then it passes peak. It's just past its peak.
Right.
I'm amazed that it's past it. Like, it's taken a long time. Like, do you remember what year you brewed that?
2015.
So that's a phenomenal.
It's 7 years old.
That's crazy.
So you wouldn't think that coffee could have that longevity. I mean, you just, or you would assume that half the bottles would be too oxidized or lost carbonation, or like that.
And it was never bottled on really good equipment. So, you know,
what was the ABV on that one, Hendo?
7.5%.
So that might help it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit of alcohol in it.
That's a long time.
Like, I'm not saying it wasn't bad, but I had it when Smokey and Lukey opened their brewery, and we had a little bit of celebration in that. And we drank it down at Bine Bar down in Currumbin, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
it was tasting phenomenal. And
that was nice.
Guys.
There you go.
Shout out to the boys.
It was a little bit over 2 years ago.
Shout out to Smokey, who invested in our crowdfunding yesterday, and Lukey, who texted me today, who's on the beach at Carroll Surf Club drinking Black Hops in a rented cabana on the beach like a boss. Love
those guys are like that's what they do. Like they're just
legends.
Awesome supporters of things. When I just bought this place I'm in right now, and Smokey said, "Oh, by the way, what's your address? Like, you know, I'm in your area in the next few weeks." I'm like, "Oh, here's my address." Next thing, a whole box of Currumbin beer.
Nice.
Oh, he fucking did that to me too. Such a legend,
isn't he? Just like he's sort of like just those spontaneous gifts. Like he's not the sort of person that's like has that typical thing like a brewery where they want to give you sort of samples of things.
No, fuck no. That's not what they do. Like that, they are the two nicest guys you'll ever meet in your entire life. Those two.
Yeah. Just what you see is what you get with those guys. So if they're listening, they're legends.
Are they part of the 12? I don't know. They may or may not be part of the 12.
Smokey's in the Facebook group. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer.
Actually,
join.
You guys asked about beers that should have gotten that hottest 100, and dead set. I can't tell you if there's any Currumbin
Valley beer. You're talking about?
No, I don't think so.
They've got about 4 beers, which I reckon should easily roll in there. Like
I think they made it last year.
They got in there last year, didn't they? Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Without a doubt, they should be there with some of their beers. So, but
the thing is that they haven't grown volume in the last 12 months. I
think it was their GABS beer that made it last year. I'll check. I think it was their sort of famous GABS beer that made it last year. Let me check.
Great pub going sour.
Yeah.
And I think that once they
number 66. That's 2019. 2019, number 66. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Probably went like the year after one GABS, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. But their double IPA, it was just what?
Lookout. You mean Lookout?
Lookout, yeah. Not to be confused with Lookout from Mr. Banks. But that beer, dangerously good. However, a double IPA making the list, maybe not going to happen, but from a small producer, but at the same time, like justified if they were to get the list. I think you're right, Hendo. If and when they finally open that damn tap room, I think you might see some more results.
Just to go back to the milk and two sugars thing for a second.
Yes,
I would happily reserve a bottle for both you guys for us to sit down and enjoy it. It's worth trying.
Oh, Hendo, that's a nice gesture.
Happy with that.
And I'd also do you should do an acid freaks as well, because it's actually really
also good. Hendo, now that you're living literally 10 minutes away, also happy to just share one, because your kind of ramblings on it would be as valuable as the bottle itself. So always keen on either or.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know a place where Dan can stay when it comes to Brisbane.
What do you mean?
On Ann Street, right? If you need a place to stay, there's the Oaks Lexicon Apartments.
Oh, okay.
I shit you not, mate.
I'm keen for that. Very keen for that.
A little bit of ways from St. Lucia Royal and that sort of thing, but I figure it's poignant, and
Well, we haven't had a renovation update today, but
what's going on with your reno?
I'm in the new place. I'm literally in the new place now. Would you like a tour?
Yeah, shit, yeah. Give us a tour, Hendo.
Yeah. Here we go. It's empty, but let's have a look and see what happens. I've unplugged the power. I'm picking up the laptop and I'm giving you the grand tour. So
a lot of lexicon.
So basically, what you can see there. So I've got some cleaning shit and that sort of thing. There's the floor.
The hybrid.
There's the
black
walls
button,
there. Yeah, it was some sort of fucking black button.
Yeah.
And here's my double oven. Look at this shit. That's unbelievable. The double oven there, and I'm very happy with that. And so this is the kitchen here.
I like
so
the
that
handles.
Was basically
nice.
all yellow. Yeah, it's great. And so basically, you want to know some cool shit, right? So this is an induction stove. So basically, it boils a pot. It boils a pot of water in about 90 seconds. Fucking unbelievable.
Oh, really?
And so you see that handle there, right?
This one.
That's a dishwasher, isn't it?
That's my dishwasher.
Oh,
nice.
Okay. Yeah, you're doing the Euro thing where it's all hidden away.
Yes, absolutely. It's an IKEA kitchen. And so basically, do you want to know how long it takes when you want to know how long?
I like the brick,
got to go.
The tiles, the white tiles. Brick look like
subway
I've got the subway tiles.
Did you do it yourself, Hendo?
No, I had someone install this, but I had a nice lady come by and help me do the design, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And
no, I'm talking about the subway tiling. You had a tiler?
Oh, I can't tile.
Nor can I. We got herringbone tile done like 2 months ago.
Oh, that's fucking hard, man.
And
what does that mean?
Herringbone is
it's like where the tiles are at 90 degrees like to each other.
Two tiles like this, and then two like
hard.
that, and they kind of cross hatch and they create a zigzag type pattern, almost akin to like MC Escher or something. It's like a little bit, but I wouldn't have wanted to do it myself, that's for sure.
Wow. Well,
exactly.
We had a story earlier from when Hendo was in his bathroom tiling by himself, and he ended up in hospital. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So let me finish this tour here, right? So when you open the door of the dishwasher and when you turn it on, right? How do you know how long the dishwasher's got to go?
Someone rings you.
What it does is it throws a fucking projector on the fucking floor.
Oh,
no shit. And
so
basically,
it
throws light on the floor.
Like a spotlight, like a Batman style type spotlight.
No, it
actually
throws like it throws like it's like the bat signal. It throws a fucking LED on the floor. It's unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, amazing. And so, okay, let me continue the tour here. And so here's my bedroom here. This is where I'm currently staying. So I've got the shitty mattress on the floor for now. And here's the curtains, my mum.
Oh, nice. Looks good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's
nice.
Right. So mum did those curtains. This is where the new office/studio is going in here. So there's some more curtains. Here's the built-in wardrobes that I had installed. Like
nice.
So.
They look good.
I painted all the doors, the walls, installed the enamel paint. Can eat a dick.
Lexicon on the doors or just the walls?
No. So how it goes, Dan, is what you need to do is you put Lexicon half on the walls.
Yeah.
And then you put Vivid White, which is the whitest white you can get
on the trims.
on the trims, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's the throne there. So there's the tiles and that sort of thing. And in here is the bathroom.
Well, that red towels.
I want to get rid of this red towel because I had all these black tiles put in.
That's
fire.
Tiles put in. But my red towel doesn't fucking fit at all.
I like it.
So
there's you've got
there's exactly. There's my new shower. So it's one of those 2 shower things where you've got the handheld shower.
The rainwater. This is
and then you've got the rain shower. No, the rain shower, that's for washing my hair. And
okay. Well,
and then I had this oak looking fucking vanity unit.
Nice.
I painted the bathtub. So it's looking
looks good, mate.
Red towel. Red towel's got to fuck off. Yeah, you got to do that. I still need to put a glass screen in there. I've got it sitting in the garage, but it's a 28 kilogram piece of glass.
I haven't put that in yet.
Garage. Oh, I can't carry it upstairs by myself. Fucking hell.
Well, I think I like the red towel because it represents what you were like when you were renovating that room.
Thanks.
Well,
and so that's it. That's
very nice.
So tomorrow.
Now, a quick question, Dan, because we haven't kept in touch on this, but I've seen some of your updates where you've posted what looks like your house being crushed to like rubble.
Yes.
So what's going on there?
Yes.
What's going on with your property?
Yes, I am building a new house. It's taking a very long time. So there's been no progress to talk about on this podcast. But when there is, we can get the lexicon involved.
We can
talk about it.
So you've already picked your colours though.
Yeah, lexicon.
Bullshit.
No, I actually don't know. I've got to check. I don't know what colours I picked.
Know.
It was some shade of white. I've got to check. But yeah, I've moved where I'm currently living in Varsity.
If it's not, Dan, if it's not fucking Lexicon half, you're going to have to bulldoze that shit again and start again, hey?
And I will, and that's fine.
At the end of the day, Dan, you're on a prime piece of land, so, you can't really go wrong.
Well, I'm enjoying where I'm living at the moment in deep Varsity. It's pretty good. There's a lot of activity going on there.
Are you in a rental at the moment while you're waiting for your new place to be built?
Yeah, I'm in a rental. How's your Jack going there? Is she pretty tasty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a rental. I'm in deep, and we have toads, frogs, snakes, cockatoos, lorikeets, swamp wallabies, turtles, humans that questionably probably should be in prison. I don't know. They're in public. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of hazards there, like for your boys and that sort of thing.
It's You know what you're describing is not dissimilar to Rockley, where I am. So.
Rockley, yes, very much like. Do you have swamp? You don't have a swamp though, do you, Rockley?
Yeah, it's a swamp at Rockley.
It's very swampy because the main Kookaburra Park down the end of my street, which is the main kind of parkland, it's the grass is always overgrown. You've got your red and black snakes.
A lot of snakes.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's flooding, but it's like it's always
wet.
It's always very wet and
yes.
swampy, and there's little sort of mud ponds and things like that, because it does. We are in a gully. Where I live, I'm not part of that gully. I'm at the high end of Rockley.
Oh, look at you! Oh, do you mean Upper Rockley?
I'm not on a floodplain. Does that make sense? There's something like 2% of Rockley that's like in the safe zone that's never flooded. I'm in that zone. Nice. That's why I bought the place, because Rockley's notoriously.
Did you check the flood map when you went to buy?
Oh yeah.
The place? I know. I'm in fucking St. Lucia, mate. The whole thing just floods, but
the river's right there.
Of the hill.
It is.
St. Lucia is just steep, but I'm on the hill, so it's fine.
It's awesome. There's a lot of activity. There's always something going on. It's great.
Yeah. Well, you look at Tennyson. I mean, Tennyson floods, but it's $10 million for a property there. So
yes. When I went to school, our playing fields were at Tennyson because it was way cheaper for them to be there than where the school was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. How times have changed.
Yeah.
Go there now. It's like ridiculous. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk at all about Facebook groups, but I feel like maybe we have to do another one, Hendo. What do you reckon? Get Leon back to talk about
Happy
Facebook
to come
groups?
back and talk about that. Like there's long-winded stories about that, and I think it's every day it's changing, and you never know. But happy to chat with you guys about that at some stage when we. But I think like the hottest 100 brew cult chat and the property chat.
Yeah.
Kind of,
I reckon do it again. What do you reckon? Are you happy to come
I agree.
back?
I think, yeah. Let's chat about what I'm interested to chat about is how Facebook group and social media groups have changed over. Oh, how long? How old's Beer Thread?
Right, are you doing it now, Hendo?
March,
No, not doing it.
Preempting the next episode.
Yeah, March 2014 was the first.
Ooh.
When I created the first group,
and I think there's a lot of history there that I think we need to go through.
Touch up on. Yeah, I'm happy
100%.
to jump on again at some stage. We can have a bit of a chat.
Well, if you're not subscribed to the podcast, you should probably subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you should probably subscribe.
Yep,
as well.
I'll do
and
both.
And I just want to say, we've got a great audience, and I love them to bits, all 12 of them. Except I fucked up. Just want to tell you, I fucked up. Like when you have 12 12s, that's not a score. That's a gross. That's a gross.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
that. So shout out to the crew where you're now gross.
They called you out on that, didn't they? Which is good. That's what you want.
No. Someone did their research and fucking internet. I don't know why. I think about the Abraham Lincoln fucking speech where he goes 4 score and 7 years ago, and it's like 144 times. 4. That's a lot of years you weren't alive. Yeah, I fucked that up.
Did you like the fact, Hendo, that when we tallied up the scores for your hottest 100 predictions, your score was 12 out of 28?
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Well, maybe I did that on purpose.
Or you're just not smart.
Little column A,
because
little column B.
No, I'm just saying. The only reason I'm saying that because my score was the highest out of everyone in the group, and I'm not bragging. Yeah. I wouldn't say bragging, but
yeah. Well, you've got the inside.
You've got the inside thing, and you're hyper aware of all that stuff.
That's
and
true.
You're also like very in touch with it all and would be analyzing, thinking. I think a lot of others kind of keep it a bit more lighthearted and throwing.
You're so true. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
But it's really funny, right? I saw this funny update, and it's not really relevant now, but I don't know if you guys saw it. You know Miro Bellini. He posted something like it was about 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, they're just giving it." It was Sportsbet or TAB or something. He said, "Oh, they're just giving away money these days," and it was a 3-bet multi-bet, and it was GABS Hottest 100, Crankshaft, and it was Triple J Hottest 100, The Wiggles, and then it was like, Ash Barty to win, and it was the odds. $100 bet got you a return of like $2,450.
Wow!
But like
$2.40.
I mean, the first two were kind of obvious. I mean, I think like if I spoke to anyone that was in the know of those things, they would have said the same thing. Like you could have gone, you know what? If I put $100 on 8 tennis players, I'm gonna double my money at least. You know what I mean? Like it's quite hilarious how some results are quite clear. I think the hardest thing would be getting like the top 5 right in the hottest 100
in order.
How did you go though, Dan? What were your mistakes? Because you did mention that you did the best.
Yes. Well, we had quite a few questions. My top was Ben Swag. My top was Crankshaft. Number 2 was Larry, which is wrong. Number 3 was Bolter XPA, which is also wrong, but that was just a different order. So I feel like we were close there.
That's fair.
Number 4 was
if you had gone the box
Ale.
trifecta, you would have been fine.
Exactly. Number 4 was Pacific Ale, which was right. And number 5 was Goat, which is also right. So my top 5 was actually 100% right.
Well done.
Slightly different order.
On the box, Quinn.
Most amount of beers in the list, I went for Black Ops with 10. I was right with Black Ops because we were tied with Capital, but wrong with 10.
How many?
Oh, how many did you get? 8.
We got 6 and Capital got 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who else got 6?
Mighty Craft.
Mighty Craft.
Lion Nathan. CUB.
Yes.
I think Mighty Craft got 7, but yeah,
Mighty
CUB
Craft
and
got
Lion
6.
got way more.
I counted up while we're looking. Maybe I fucked up.
Ben Spoke must have been close to that too, because they had.
Well, they were up there with the top because the next one was top beers in the 50, and I voted for Black Ops because I'm biased as shit.
Oh, okay.
But I think the actual highest beers in the top 50, we had 3.
Yeah.
And Ben Spoke and Ultra, I think, had 3, but Capital had 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And barrel aged beer, number of barrel aged beer, I said 1 and thought it'd be AWOL, which it wasn't because we didn't make it. But that one you mentioned,
it was the once more into the fray.
Once more into the fray. That was the only one, wasn't it?
But that's like if I speak to almost anyone on Beer Trade, probably anyone in any beer group that appreciates beer, I reckon that's probably their top barrel aged stout in Australia in terms
That's
of
good then.
what they consider to be on an almost US standard. Although in saying that, I agree, but I kind of also think I still think the Boat Rocker, like the Ramjet, the Jack Jet, I still think they're not to be ignored, but Boat Rocker are a little bit like, off radar these days when it comes to this sort of stuff, aren't they? Like,
indeed.
When did you last talk to someone about Boat Rocker? It's like, we all know them and love them, but we don't, they don't really get a look in.
Yeah, that's true. We went there. It was fucking awesome. I love Boat Rocker. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other one was low alc, and I think Hendo.
Fuck that up.
Hendo went with 0 low alc beers in the list. I went with 2.
No
which
alc.
ended up being
no
incorrect. Sorry, no alc. Well,
was it 2? Because you got sober.
Technically it was 2 that ended up being correct, which I didn't give myself points for because we were talking about Sidewinder as counting.
And heaps normal. Heaps normal 20, which is really surprising.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute fucking game changer for the hottest 100 because to see no alc beers. I'm not going to count Sidewinder because I actually call it as ultra low.
If you don't count Sidewinder, I beat you even worse. I got 17 points because I picked that one. As I said 3. But you're right. It's 1.1, I think. So it doesn't really count.
It's 1.15. They keep it under the excise limit, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's actually really interesting to see non-alc beers. I think that's the first time they've been in the hottest 100.
I bet it would be, yeah.
And I'm I don't know.
Well, I actually think Sidewinder only got released within the last year.
And heaps normal.
Sober's been around for a while, but heaps normal's pretty new.
Yeah, it's probably
I don't know.
2 years old.
I don't know how I feel about non-alc beers being in the hottest 100. To be fair,
I think whatever people vote for is fine. But the sober one, I don't want to bag out sober because I did try 2 of their beers, and Luke sent us the beers. But
was the one that I tried on the show, the pepperberry.
Exactly, that was not my favorite one.
69.
The other one was quite good. That one I didn't love, but fuck it, that's amazing. They made the list.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. It shows the change in beer. I mean, as I said last week, it's a popularity contest, and it talks about the trends in beer and sort of thing. And non-alc's here.
It's here.
And it's here, and it's here to stay. And Dan, got one on the cards?
No, not at all. No, I'm not into it, but fuck it, whatever. They're doing well, and that's great. I think that's a good point to end this. That was amazing. Let's do this again and talk about Facebook groups.
Please, yes.
Because I actually do have a lot of questions about the Facebook group situation. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll be the first to admit I'm not sure I've got the answers, but the thing is, I reckon it's a really good discussion, especially now that you're running the Boss and the Brewer Facebook group, which you're going to potentially be dealing with what I've dealt with in the past. So I'm happy to at least talk shit and kind of have a chat about it.
We'll take free advice, mate.
I think we need some advice because Hendo is encouraging in that group the kind of recklessness that's going to get us into trouble. So
Yeah,
I think we do
I
need.
don't think it,
What do you mean?
I probably don't have advice as much as just information about how these things go.
Experience.
But I'm really happy to do it because
Shit post.
I wasn't too sure about like, you know, how all of this would go down tonight, but I reckon it's been supernatural and just chilled and quite fun. So I'm really happy to just, yeah, another week we'll do it and we'll hone in on the topic and have a yarn about it. So
We appreciate you
Cheers.
being here tonight, Leon.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Hendo and Dan. Thank you, guys.
Love you, mate. That
Yeah,
was
you
great.
too. All right.
Next
Cheers,
week.
guys.
So
soon.
are we actually doing it next week?
Let's
Give it a couple of weeks
Okay.
because I think it's a really interesting topic, and
Yeah.
I'll reach out to Leon in
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, and we'll sort things there. But I actually am very interested in the topic. So.
I love the excuse to have a couple of beers on a Wednesday night and have a chat. So let's talk, let's lock it in, and then we'll go down that pathway. And I reckon we'll bring up some interesting sort of information about that whole platform, and also Instagram if you want to touch in on that, because you know
100%.
it's all linked as well these days. So
Indeed,
Would love to.
love your
All
work,
right.
legend.
Cheers,
All right.
legend.
Cheers,
See you,
guys.
boys.
Take care.
Talk to you
Take it
soon.
easy, guys.
See ya.